Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Sustainable Stace. Today I'd like you to join me in making some tea. But we're not going to talk about making tea and sipping it in your garden. Instead, we're going to make a giant batch of comfrey tea for our garden. We're going to use comfrey, we're going to make tea, and it's going to get distributed onto our plants, and it's going to blow your mind how much it improves your output and your harvest. So here we go on comfrey tea.
I'm Stace. For me, healthy food and sustainability are totally connected. You can grow it yourself. Nature is generous.
There's so many different ways to try to improve the health of your plants in your garden, and in our case, grow organic veggies that's going to be as healthy as possible for yourself and as positive as possible for the soil as well. Well, one of the best and least expensive ways is to make tea. You can start with anything that's high in nutrition that's going to give its nutrition into the water that you soak it. You can make compost tea. Today we're going to make comfrey tea. So we're going to soak down this high nutrition plant and make like a 100-liter batch of comfrey tea. Now, just in reference to another video on my channel, there's at least 8 reasons why I do love comfrey. It's an incredible beneficial plant in the garden. This plant is at the end of its lifespan, as are the other stalks of comfrey that are already in the barrel. So they're winding down and they're going to grow back, but we're not going to lose it in any way. We're going to take full advantage of the comfrey tea. So I'm just going to walk you through the steps that I do to make comfrey tea. I usually do it once every growing season at the point when flowers and fruit are just starting to set on the plants. And then it's a great time to take the week when it's warm like this, because the heat of the sun steeping away in a closed lid container is going to do an incredible brew of comfrey tea. So let's get into it and let's make this batch of comfrey tea. So if you haven't worked with comfrey very much before, it's got really funky little bristles on the stalks, which I find it a really wonderful feature. It's kind of fuzzy, but fuzzy in a way that gets a little uncomfortable. So I'm going to use some gloves. I've just got some little hand trimmers. I'm just bending over the stalks and clipping them. And I won't bore you with the whole process of clipping down this entire plant, but we're just going to take the stalks and shove them in the barrel. And as we motor through this plant and get it in the barrel, then we'll take it to the next step and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so I've clipped off the last of the stalks from the plant here under this beautiful apple tree, and you can already see if you look in closely there's little leaves and little stalks coming up, and the comfrey is going to grow again still this season. So the bin is full. We've got this massive 100-liter bin, and here's a note now, because comfrey tea is mostly water, right, being added to the comfrey. This is going to get distributed in a garden. For me, it's more than 100 meters from here. This is going to get heavy. I'm going to put 100 liters of water in it. So note to you, note to me, fill this with water close to where you want to distribute it. In my case, move the empty container, well, mostly empty, it's lightweight, 100 meters closer to my garden before I fill it with water. So let's go do that and I'll talk you through what I do. As I do it, I'm going to add something magical along with the comfrey that really improves, again, the health and the power of the comfrey tea. Okay, so we've lugged the big bin full of comfrey, the 100 meters up to the garden, got the water on high speed. I'm gonna go get the magic ingredient I mentioned that I'm gonna put in here. And just as a side note, with the beehives behind over my right shoulder, the one that's on your right, it's got like between 60 and 70 pounds of honey in it right now, probably 30 to 35 kilos. Those bees are killing it this year. Okay, let's go get the magic ingredient. So underneath the plastic, I have some cardboard. Oh yeah, you can see all the garden waste, kitchen waste, and it's been percolating away. We're just gonna put this in a pile and add it in. Oh yeah, it's hot and steamy. It's gonna add a lot. This is our magic combo. All right, let's go get it done. Okay, so our brew is filling up. I've dumped in the magic compost, so we've got the compost and the comfrey working together. We want it to all be pushed down. You know, this is the perfect thing to do in your garden just before you go away on a vacation, because you can be out of town, out of country, off-site, but you know that back home something magic's happening. You wouldn't believe what just came out of here. There's a green tree frog that just came out of the compost tea. He must have been down by my, I gotta show him to you. Look at him, look at him. You see him there? There, we just rescued him. He didn't end up being turned into tea. Oh my goodness, how wonderful is that? We'll let him loose in the garden and continue on with what's going on here. Whoop. It's okay, buddy. There. Okay, we'll just get the top. Okay, so we're totally full. She's all settled in. Trust me, when I'm all done this brew in a week's time, I won't be putting my hands in it very often because you'll be very glad I don't have smell-o-vision on my camera. Anyway, we're set. We're gonna set her on there. She's completely full and we're gonna let it perk. And in a week, we're gonna be ready to distribute. To you, it'll only take seconds and we'll be back at her. It's been 1 week since all the chopped up comfrey stalks went in this container and I filled it with water and I went away on vacation. I put the lid on it and a rock on it. It has sat here for 1 week, and during that week, I don't believe it's rained at all while I've been away. If so, it's been very little rain, as in it's been hot out. Not cool, not humid, dry and hot. Some of the days the temperatures hit as high as 30 Celsius, so getting into the 90 or so Fahrenheit range, which means this stuff's been cooking. I haven't taken the lid off. If you know anything about making comfrey tea, you know what I'm expecting. It's gonna be a whoo mama smell when we open this sucker up. So let's get it ready to look inside, and then we're gonna pull the stalks out with a pitchfork and get those spent stalks into the compost pile and dilute our tea and get ready to spread the love around. Okay, let's check out what's going on. Okay. Oh my goodness. Now, my microphone doesn't have smell, it only has sound, but oh my goodness, you just can't even believe how absolutely putrid and nasty this is. And if there's any correlation, and I think there is, any correlation between odor and effectiveness, we've got something very effective. So all I'm hoping to do is get enough, not too much of this at once, and pull it out, put it in my wheelbarrow so that I can get it to the compost pile. There we are. I'm not going to dip my head any closer. There's the magic getting going. Look at how golden and strong looking it is. It is flavorful and full of nutrition. I knew that when I made this beautiful stuff that it would be a big heavy container that I wouldn't want to move. So I decided to set it up right here by the hose. And I'm just going to top this sucker up so it gets nice and full. And honestly, the look of it is a toilet when about half a dozen people have used it and nobody's been flushing it. It just looks absolutely foul. The stench, even at the end of the day when it's no longer that hot, is super powerful. And by adding this water in here, it'll probably be about 60% original tea and about 40% water added. And then we'll start dipping the watering can in and sharing the love around in the garden and in the grow house and in the flower bed and everywhere else. There's one particular place that I'm especially eager to see comfrey tea get to work, because it's where it has the most impact, and that's in the potato patch. And right now I'm going to use comfrey tea in one of my other videos for potato performance. So let's give that a shot and see how it does there too. I am ready to dispense comfrey tea. Now I want to just show you a few of the tricks that make it so much more user-friendly for you. First of all, I use a can that has no filter strainer on the end, because there's going to be chunks and pieces inside your comfrey tea, and this way when I go to dispense it, it just pours right out like that, no problem. The timing, I'm getting all my plants just as they're coming into fruiting, probably done flowering. It's going to give them a real jolt in terms of energy. And I've just put down my organic fertilizer at the base of all my plants. And so the comfrey tea is this quick release liquid that's going on top of the organic fertilizer I've put down. You can check my recipe on my channel for how I make my own organic fertilizer. So with no strainer, on top of my dry fertilizer, as all the plants are fruiting, I hit everything in the garden. I'm doing my tomatoes, my kale, my chard, my whole bed of herbs. I've got a bunch of really nice big like golf ball and baseball size onions here that I'm doing, potatoes, pole beans, zucchini and squash. It's going everywhere. I go into the grow house. I do all my trailing cucumbers and melons and everything, like hot peppers that are in there as well. So the comfrey tea goes onto everything. Guys, if you haven't previously, I'd like to ask you, subscribe to my channel, please. Thanks for watching. Have a great season growing.